Good call. It's a good call.
Thanks, Dave. Hello, we're live. Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey.
It's Matt and Christian over here, and Dave's on the other side of the country, on the other side of the video as well.
Hello, world.
Pause. Wait, is it already muted? Did I pause it? I thought I pressed mute. Sorry. Oh, my bad. Good call. It's already on mute. It is on mute. Wow. It remembered.
Oh, I remember. Oh, I remember.
All right. So, hope everyone's doing well. We're back. Bros Talking Soccer here. I guess I probably should have led with that, but we're having a little bit of technical fun over here. So, we're working on that first. Not that we don't appreciate and care more for you than the technical issues, but, sometimes shit comes up, so we had to handle that. All right. So, hope everyone's doing well. Dave, Matt, are you ready to get started here?
I am very ready. Guys, this is the last time you're going to be seeing me with a beard. Anything you would like to say to the beard? Any comments or anything like that?
Oh, why? Yeah.
This is Kristen's birthday coming up, and I usually shave it. I grow it out from fall to spring.
Are you serious right now?
Oh, yeah.
You don't shave for, months?
Yeah, I didn't shave for about 6 months. I mean, I trim it. It's not like...
Okay, yeah, so you trim it. Okay.
And then, well, yeah, but now it'll be pretty much gone.
Wow. Life's crazy sometimes.
I know. It just comes at you fast. If you don't stop and take a look around once in a while, you just might miss it.
Okay, we're going to start now.
TLC song?
Ferris Bueller line, guys. Come on.
I know what it is.
TLC.
Okay. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bros Talking Soccer, episode 115. We are here. Me, Christian. Matt is next to me on my right. Dave is on the other side of the country over there. Dave, how's everything going?
Everything is pretty well, Christian. I got a knife skills class later today, so I'm looking forward to that and overall having a pretty good weekend.
Are you training to be an assassin?
Yep. Yeah, it's just close quarter combat in case somebody comes at you with a knife or something like that.
Is that something you worry about frequently?
Yeah. No, it's a chopping up vegetables class, but we're excited about it. We're going to go to dinner with some friends in San Francisco, so overall it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Fun day, if you ask me. Matt, how's everything going with you?
I was doing well until I was a little thrown off by Dave's comment. So you were going to a class and you get to keep the vegetable, or you just go and just cut some vegetables, or?
No, we get to keep the vegetables too. So it's going to be wonderful.
Oh, wow. All right. That's interesting. I wish you the
chop
best.
up the vegetables and feed them to a horse.
Thank you. No, you give whole vegetables to a horse. I actually have no idea.
I mean, it depends on the horse. Yeah. I think they eat full apples, but I think it depends, and that's a fruit. They eat fruit.
In Red Dead, you give them just a whole vegetable, so I think that's pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, everything in Red Dead is historically accurate. So,
factual.
I mean, there you go. Fair enough.
Christian, how are you?
Wow. Oh my God. I am not great. I'm going to be honest. Thanks for asking. I was up pretty much all night not feeling well, so it's real fun. I'm supposed to.
The union will do that to you.
Yeah. And I also went to the Walmart in Norristown, and every time I go in there, I feel like I get sick because it's such an interesting place. So it's not the best one I've ever been to. I'll just throw it out there.
Maybe stop going there.
It's only the 5th time I've ever been there. Maybe in my entire life.
How did you get
sick? Even if
I don't think that's true, but that place is disgusting and not good. They really got to do something about it. Okay. So we're going to move along here. I have a trivia question this week, so I'm very excited for me. It's going to be about El Clasico because we had 2 of them this week and Barca won both of them. Because of that, they now have a better record against Real Madrid than Real Madrid has against Barcelona. 96 to 95 wins. When is the last time, what year, that happened? Okay, so think on that, guys. I was giving you a second to think. Listeners, brothers, everybody had time to think. And we're ready to jump into the podcast. So I'm going to pass it off to Matt over here for Matt's Megs. Kick it off, Matt.
Thank you, Christian.
Kick it. Bam.
Soccer.
Christian. Kicking it, Knittels.
Ooh, wow. Maybe we should kick it, Knittels. Oh my God. Did we just change everything?
We're just discovering things over here. It's just an exciting day, guys.
Wow. Okay. Well, hi. Welcome to Matt's Megs here.
Welcome.
Welcome. We're going to get started talking about Robert Lewandowski, Bayern Munich's striker right now in the Bundesliga. He just I'm pretty sure equal. I don't think he broke what? I'm pretty sure he equaled the record this week for goals scored by a non-German player in the Bundesliga, including his time at Dortmund and Bayern Munich. I'll start with Christian. Where would you put Lewandowski as the all-time ranks in Bundesliga history or even soccer history with his goal-scoring record?
Okay, so he is one of the most pure strikers that I can remember seeing in my lifetime. I don't know if he's number one, but he's up there. He is truly just a special goal-scoring, goal-poaching type of striker. He has pace. He has the ability to finish from like just getting in position. He has the power. Him in the air is really one of the more unrivaled. Like he's very, very good at that. Just knowing where to be and winning those aerial battles. And he's a hold-up striker. He can run at people. He has everything, and his goal scoring record just proves it. He is the now tied and is going to break it this year.
Yeah.
We all know it for the foreign goal scoring record in the Bundesliga. He really is a special talent. I don't think he'll ever catch Gerd Muller in terms of just being a striker in the Bundesliga, but he's up there with the best of them other than that. And right now, he might be slotting in at number 2. I loved Miroslav Klose, and I'm just going to say that now. But I think Lewandowski is probably a better striker overall right now.
Dave?
Yeah, I think Christian hit the nail on the head with a lot of what he said there. The only other thing that I'd add is just the longevity of Lewandowski. I mean, he's been so good in the Bundesliga for so many years, and that's been so impressive. Like Christian said, it's tough to rate him over Gerd Muller. Beyond that, I'm not going to claim to know too much about the Bundesliga and their historical strikers. I know they've had some good ones over the years, but Lewandowski's got to be near the top after everything he's accomplished in his career. So, and he's not done yet. I know he's been clamoring for a move to Real Madrid or whatnot. I feel like that has passed, and so I could see him staying in the Bundesliga the rest of his career as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, especially watching him this year, it seems like he's a little bit slower or just doesn't make the same runs that he used to. I think he still has the same talent, but I just don't think it's the same team at Bayern in the same situation where he's like happy and just scoring goals at will. So I think right now is the first time I'm kind of seeing him dip in form a little bit. But I mean, for the last, 6 years, he's been a top 5'10" striker undeniably. So
he's definitely taller than 5'10".
Good one.
That was great.
So I think,
Bazinga.
But it's crazy to me that I don't think he's ever been a team of the year player or like he's never even been considered for Ballon d'Or. And it's crazy how he's been playing at this level for so long. And I probably compare him to like Aguero or something, how they've been good for that long and they don't really get the credit they deserve, even though everyone knows they're world class.
That's a really good comparison.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome, Matt. It's just, you're doing great.
Do you think he will, Dave, you already answered this, Christian, do you think he will finish his career in the Bundesliga?
I do. Yes. I'm going to say yes. He's going to finish his career with Bayern Munich at this point. I know he has wanted to move. The only other place I can really see him going in the future, maybe he could go to PSG. I don't really see that, but like I could see him ending up at Juventus later on in his career. I think he's got
on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Juve special.
Yeah, he's pretty much exactly what they want. He feel like he'd fit in right when Mandzukic is leaving.
And I don't remember too much about the beginnings of his career. I don't know if he started with a Polish team. Like you could see him just like ending up, just seeing out his career maybe with his hometown team if there was a situation like that. But I could also see him just finishing up at the top.
He was the player where it was he was on his way to Blackburn and then he couldn't go because of the volcano eruptions in Iceland.
Yep.
Well, crazy path his career took from that movement. So shout out to him. Anything else you guys want to add on Lewandowski?
No.
I'm so happy we got to see Rocket Santa Cruz instead with Blackburn instead of Lewandowski. That was just quite the player.
Was he at Bayern as well?
I don't think so.
I think he was there for like a season or two. I could have that wrong, but whatever. We'll continue.
Right,
I'll circle back.
That later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look that up later. All right. You guys want to move on?
I would love to move on, Matt.
Yes.
All right. So this week, a couple days ago, IFAB, pretty sure I got that right, organization that makes the rules in soccer, changed the handball rule in goal-scoring situations to if the ball hits your hand, doesn't matter deliberation or not, it is a penalty kick if the ball strikes your hand in what? What do you guys
deliberation? I don't think they're stopping and debating anything.
They might.
Deliberate.
Well, no, officially they aren't doing that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
While we have this little break here, Roque Santa Cruz played for Bayern Munich for 8 years. So, all right, back to the IFAB thing.
Maybe
I
a
was right.
season.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
All right, so they changed the handball rule, which is going to lead to a lot of more penalty kicks. Dave, I'll start with you. What do you think of this rule change?
Well, like we talked about last week, I mean, it makes it more clear from a deliberation perspective amongst fans and whatnot and pundits, but it's going to lead to more penalties. There's going to be an adjustment period. So you're going to see a lot more penalties called, but then defenders are going to have to adapt and learn how to either put their hands behind their back or just have incredibly quick reactions or something like that.
Yeah,
so
like speed and reflex.
Yeah, exactly. So like Tommy Boy. So
yeah, Christian.
I hate it. I really don't like this rule at all. I know you guys are on board with it, but I think that it's fine the way it is. Yes, it's up for interpretation and fans might get frustrated with that, but that's the way of the sport. It's a lot of the decisions fall on the referees, and that's just how it's been historically. Yes, they miss calls at times, but that's what VAR was brought into. I don't think they have to actually change the rule to take out deliberate, because if it is deliberate, yes, that's a handball, but sometimes your hands are in natural positions where it can just hit, and that's not fair to me that they would call a penalty for that or like get something overturned.
Yeah, last week or 2 weeks ago when this was first brought up, I was kind of for it just to see more goals and more clarity.
But convincing.
Yeah, Christian's so convincing. I mean, it is unfair, and we're going to see a lot of things that there's things you can't do to stop the ball from hitting your hand a lot of times, and just to automatically give a penalty kick, it seems unfair to me a little bit. But I mean, I guess you just have to adapt and learn not to use your hands in the box.
And I like when they have that rule where if you slide and the ball hits the hand that's on the ground, it's not a penalty, but if it hits the one that's above your head, it is. I think that makes more sense.
So we saw 2 instances this weekend. We'll talk about this later in the MLS section, but since you brought it up, Christian, both the Union's penalty call as well as Colorado's penalty call, which Colorado's resulted in a red card and completely threw off their game, which they were leading. Both were hand down calls, and it was still called a penalty. So that was frustrating for me.
But I think did they announce that for the World Cup? Is that when they said that was the ruling? I don't think that's a FIFA rule. I think that they announced it.
Oh, so you're saying
looking for during the World Cup.
But and then have consistent. All right,
whatever. I agree they should, but that's not my decision. Like, I think that should be a consistent rule.
But then then you have consistency now with this new rule. Now just everything is called. So at least we can all have a level of consistency, and it's not from referee to referee where it varies.
What are we going to do with a podcast when we can't debate things?
I think we'll find some stuff to talk about.
So, do you guys know when this rule is going to be implemented?
Never.
I don't think it's it might be calendar year, but from a FIFA perspective, but then leagues don't implement it until their season. They don't change rules mid-season, generally speaking. Yeah. So MLS, because of the way that their season works, this might go into effect in 2020, but for the Premier League season, it probably won't go effect into 2020 to 2021 season.
Okay. How does this affect my league that I play in?
Okay, and VAR is going to be in the Premier League next year. Is that right?
Yes. No? Yes.
Okay. So, all right, everything should be more clear next year in the Premier League. So,
yep. No, there's going to be no debating, and the referees are going to do everything perfectly, and it's just going to be
you have to find a new league to support.
Yeah. Serie A.
Yeah, very entertaining. Anything else you guys want to add, Matt's Megs?
Nope, I'm good.
No, Matt, it's been great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. Listen to a little bit of music, and we will be right back.
Wow. That That was 13 minutes, including Christian's intro and our whole intro thing. So that was
Keep it
real
moving.
quick. Yeah, Matt's done. Steven, what's going on, man? Steven says Lewandowski's not even top 20 striker in Europe all time, but he is top 10 of his generation. So I think we'll agree with the top 10 of his generation. And for me, it's just impressive what he's done from a longevity perspective for how long he's kind of been at the top. Side of Suarez and Messi.
He's not in the top 20, but he's probably close. All-time strikers. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's close, but I don't think I guess it gets like a little iffy once you get to like 15. It's like you could really put anybody in there. Anybody at all.
Anybody. CR7 does. Yeah, I expect Ronaldo to come over to MLS as well. He said that. Either the LA teams or Miami. Yeah, or Miami. I can definitely see that. And then,
yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to do your stadium scene plug?
I would love to. Check out our friends over at Stadium Scene. They have information on stadiums in the US and Canada for all sports. If you are going to a stadium, check out the events in the area, where to park, what restaurants and bars to go to, all that good stuff. Matt, what else do they do over there?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves to offer you things like blog posts, podcasts, YouTube videos, all that important stuff. Again, it's stadiumscene.tv, and it's not just soccer, it's all sports, US and Canada. So check them out, stadiumscene.tv.
Very well done.
That was our best one yet. Oh my God, that was fire.
The Angle in 4th Division or the Union. Yeah, hopefully Ronaldo comes to the Union, but I don't think that's going to happen, Steven. So we'll just write that one off. Yeah, that's
we don't sign good players. So
yeah, he's joking. No, we signed. Can we not do this?
Fine, I'll wait until your section and then I'll do it.
Okay. Matt, you look so enthralled with everything that's happening right now.
I haven't listened to anything you guys have said.
It's sad because it's true.
I know.
Okay, so we're going to move on here, and I'm going to go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back from that musical break. I was just keeping you on your toes. I might have scared you there with a little bit of volume, but it's Christian's Corner time, and I just want you guys to be awake and alert because it is that time to get involved. So I am starting with the U.S. women's national team. They have drawn Japan and England 2-2 in both games. Very entertaining scoring. Not great performances. I'll start with you, Dave. What do you think of the U.S. women's national team? Is this a sign of things to come for the World Cup? Are they just getting ready, trying to figure things out? What do you think?
I think that they're just trying to get ready. So in fairness, I didn't get to see these matches. I was following on Twitter and people seemed to be freaking out and they weren't very complimentary towards Jill Ellis, the manager. And so from that perspective, it's not great. But teams' performance going into the World Cup isn't always indicative of how they do at the World Cup. Obviously, you want to be hitting form and all of that. But I mean, like France drew the US before they went to the World Cup. And so like, from the men's perspective. And so this may be a period where Jill Ellis is experimenting with the players or something like that. Again, I didn't see the matches, so I can't comment specifically, but I know people were complaining about players being played out of positions and the style that was happening. It could be a situation where she doesn't want to give anything away for the World Cup or any of that. I don't love that strategy from a manager. Just roll out your best players, roll out your tactics, get the team comfortable and play to the best of your abilities. And then hopefully you just continue playing that way. So I hope it was gamesmanship from her, but I also wouldn't go that way if I was manager. So that's the best I can comment on this situation.
So you're saying the US would have won the World Cup if we were there? The men?
No. What I'm saying is pre-World Cup friendlies don't matter.
That's what I heard. I liked it. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole situation?
I'm not too worried about it because England and Japan, it's not like they're, bad teams. I think they're going to be competing pretty much throughout the entire Women's World Cup. So I don't think it's, bad that we drew them. We didn't lose. We were able to score goals. I think that's positive. I know England's definitely getting better with their women's team. Japan, and they were good the last 2 World Cups. I'm not sure how their current form is, but I know they were pretty much 2 powerhouses. So, I mean, getting goals, I know the games are in America, but at least getting goals is a good sign, and I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. We have another game, one more game
Yeah.
left, and it's against Brazil. I guess I should give my thoughts on it. I am concerned a little bit. I think that the U.S. really have to step up their game going into the World Cup. I think there are going to be more friendlies before they actually go into the World Cup. But these are the top teams. These are the teams you're going to be playing against. You should be playing your starting team, getting your tactics right for these types of matches. This is what you prep for. And the other friendlies leading up, maybe you throw in one or two different people going into it and just see, okay, if we were forced to play somebody else out of position, what tactics can I mix up? But this is technically a competition and a cup you're playing for. Yeah, it doesn't have that World Cup feel to it, but it is important. These are 4 of the best teams in the world, and I think we should have been taking it a little bit more seriously. Japan are a good team. We've struggled with them in the past. England, obviously, are a very good team. Brazil is the team that we're playing next, and I'll go into that a little bit and get your guys' thoughts on that. They don't seem to be as powerful as they once were. England beat them. Japan beat them in the first game, or the second game, sorry, right?
Yeah, they're tied.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
Japan and
And I
England both have 4
think
points.
England beat them 2-1 in the first game, but I can't remember. I think it was a score of 2-1. I don't remember who won that game, and I'll check that once you guys are talking just to confirm. But they don't seem to be what they are. Do you think it's important that we come out and really showcase our power and try and prove a point and make a statement to try and win this competition? Matt, I'll start with you this time.
I don't believe it is that important because, I mean, it would be nice. You should go to win every game, but I don't think we're making a statement by winning this tournament. I think the World Cup is going to be the statement. I don't think it's much of a big deal, win or lose. I think this is a good way to see what the rotations are, and that's why I think we should be trying just to see what is going to be ready or who is going to be ready for the actual tournament. But this, there's no, major reward for winning it.
And do you think it's important sorry, I'll come to you, Dave, in a second, but I'll ask Matt this as well. Do you think it's important for the women to make a run and really try and engage soccer fans again after what happened with the men's team?
I think it is important. I don't think they'll have a problem with it. I think the coverage of it is amazing already, and I think pretty much because of how they've done in previous years, everyone's already supporting them. So I don't think it's necessarily too dependent on their performance this World Cup.
So, Dave, what do you think about having a good performance against Brazil and their performance in the World Cup being a huge factor for soccer fans?
So the performance against Brazil, obviously I want to see them do well, and it's obviously better than doing poorly. But again, I'm not going to put too much stock into it. They started relatively poor in the 2015 World Cup, and then they started to build up momentum, and then they were just absolutely steamrolling teams by the final. And we saw how that ended up for them. So again, I'm not going to get too hypercritical or whatnot about their performance in this tournament and against Brazil. Obviously, I want to see them do well. The other point that you brought up there about needing to do well because the men did poorly, I think the women always have the pressure. They're one of the best national teams in the world, and they always feel a sense of pressure because there is so much, they're the favorite. There is so much hopes put on them by, women and really all people in this country. And so I think they always feel it. I don't think they have an additional pressure because the men did poorly. That's, in my opinion, squarely on the men's shoulders. And so the women just have their natural pressure that they have going into a tournament.
Okay. I was just checking to see if maybe they feel a little bit of a different pressure because maybe they're losing a little bit of soccer fandom. And this is like another hope for people to just kind of jump. And it's not really for soccer fans. It's more neutral fans who like soccer.
The only thing that I think they feel more pressure on is other nations are really stepping their game up from a women's national team perspective. England's really starting to develop a culture with the women's game. A lot of these other nations are really building out their domestic leagues from a women's perspective. And so if anything, that's where the national team is really starting to feel the pressure. And we're starting to see, these technical teams, from a men's perspective, now having women's teams that are very technical as well. And the US has always been dominant because they're physically stronger. And yes, they've had some technical players, but now I think you're starting to see them be at a slight technical disadvantage, which they haven't had before. And seeing how they adapt to all of that is interesting to follow.
Absolutely. Matt, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. One thing I do want to bring up, is from what I've noticed, I feel like the American soccer watching community has kind of gotten over us not qualifying for the World Cup. I actually won't say the soccer watching community. I feel like
not over
the
it.
people's like your friends, the casual sports fan. I feel like we've kind of already moved past that point. I don't think it's dependent on this World Cup. Like, I haven't heard anything about that in forever. For like a year, that was honestly the worst when we didn't qualify. But I feel like we've moved past that. Like, and nobody will really like says anything about U.S. soccer at this point. And I think we've like moved on. Have you guys noticed that, or do you guys still hear things?
I agree. No one says anything about U.S. soccer because it's become a non-factor for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's always kind of the case with the casuals. When the World Cup rolls around, they'll start chiming in, and then when it goes away, yeah, they just kind of forget about it. I mean, but I will say, even in the soccer watching community, a lot of people have kind of moved on, especially with Berhalter getting appointed, and now we have these upcoming friendlies this month. I think it's just only natural that we're moving past it, and it's not going to become a topic of conversation anymore.
All right,
good.
Anything else to add on the women's team?
No,
we
good.
Move on to our next topic, Matt.
No.
Good. All right. We're going to go over to La Liga. Jose Mourinho was talking about El Clasico this week, and he was specifically praising Ivan Rakitic. Ivan Rakitic is one of the more experienced players now, which is surprising because I don't think he's been at Barcelona that long, but of all he really is just like a constant factor in that midfield with all the turnover, especially at Barcelona. I feel like there's been a lot of turnover, especially in the midfield specifically. Other than Busquets, I don't know why.
You mean Xavi and Iniesta moving on? You mean, yeah.
Over the past couple of years, he's one of the few players who's remained, other than Messi, obviously, and Suarez, and Busquets
and PK.
Well, whatever. Okay, so Jose Mourinho was really just praising how good Ivan Rakitic is and called him one of the most underrated players in the world. I actually agree. I never really rated Rakitic until recently, and he's really been proving me wrong. I honestly thought he was better than Modric during the World Cup, and for Croatia, he was fantastic in their midfield. And so what he said was he thinks he's a brilliant player, Jose Mourinho, let me be specific, but really to be elite, he needs to up his social media game. And really what he was saying is taking a dig at Pogba there because of the feud that they had, and really didn't rate Pogba that highly and thought he only cared about his image. Dave, I'll go to you first. What do you think about this?
It's just so petty. I mean, it's great from a content perspective, and it's great for the media and for us on the podcast because we can talk about this. But it's like, be an adult, be a grown man, just move on. Like, what is he hoping to get out of this? Like, it only, in my opinion, makes him look worse. And so Jose at this point is just doing whatever to get attention, which has kind of always been his MO. And so, I guess we should have expected this, but it's just like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I definitely agree. He's pretty much the only thing he is getting out of it is attention, and that's all he wants. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all he wants. I think he's great for TV, so I think this is actually pretty good for him, what he's been doing right now. I think he's hilarious. For me, Rakitic has been unreal this season. I don't think I would say he was better than Modric at the World Cup, but I think he has struggled at times at Barcelona. I forget if it was last year or 2 years ago when he was horrible. And I think that's when they had to go get Coutinho because their midfielders weren't really stepping up. But then he kind of came around and got in his form. And now he's probably their best center mid at this point. But I will say, he probably does go under the radar at this point, where he doesn't get talked about the same way Modric got talked about the same way. Even Cruz gets talked about at that level, but I think he's there.
So do you think Rakitic is going to remain at Barcelona past this season? I know there's been a lot of talks that he might be leaving. He's been one of their most consistent performers this year, but they have Coutinho, who can play in the center mid, even though they're not playing there. They have Artur. De Jong is coming in the summer. There's a lot of young, really, really talented star potential center midfielders. Does Barcelona keep Rakitic for maybe another year or longer, or do you think it's time for him to move on to really make his statement somewhere else? Matt?
I mean, it's up to him, obviously. I don't know what his thought is, but I don't really see a need. He's won a Champions League He won one with them, right?
One, yeah, 2015.
So yeah, I think he's won everything there is to win. I don't think there's anything that's necessarily keeping him there at Barcelona. I mean, I don't think he has any ties to it. I mean, money, but I think he can get money anywhere.
I mean, if his contract runs out, you can just head over to Juventus. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, it's tough for me to say exactly what he's going to do. Like you said, they are bringing in a ton of midfielders that are up and coming, and so I could see Barcelona moving on, but I could also see, just him staying an additional year and all of that. So I don't really know. I think he can start to be phased out. I mean, obviously players want to play, and so I don't know how well he would do with that. I mean, what is he? I think he's only like 31 or 32, right? It's not like he's 35. Do you know his age, Christian?
No, I think he's like 32, maybe.
Yeah, so he's still got some more time, and so I could see him wanting to stick it out a little bit longer, or moving on. So that's what I'll say on that front.
Okay, good, very good. Thanks, Dave. Matt, do you have anything else to add on this? Actually, no. Before we move on, I want to ask one more question. What do you think the future holds for Jose Mourinho at this point? Matt, Dave, I'll go to you first. Sorry. Matt,
I think
30.
Okay. Wow.
I could see
today.
Oh, he'll be 31.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rakitic is going to be 31. So yeah, I think he's still got time left, and he can still make an impact at Barcelona or wherever he ends up. Jose, I feel like he's not going to get another shot at a big league outside of maybe Italy, just because I feel like he is still so well thought of there from his time at Inter. Beyond that, I mean, I could see him going to a league like Russia. I could see him honestly coming to a league like MLS or China or a league like that, where he just kind of cashes in on his name. So I could see that happening as well.
The Union might be looking soon, so we'll get to that in our next section.
We won't be.
Yeah, we would never sign him.
No, we'll just never fire Curtin.
True. Yeah. Matt, do you have any opinions on what the future holds for Jose Mourinho?
Yeah, I think Dave had a good idea of him going to Serie A. I think his success there, and then just him and being himself is a perfect fit for Serie A and all the news stories that come out of there. I just feel like that's his home.
Yeah, I know Inter really, really love him there, but I still think his next job is going to be the Portugal national team whenever that opens up, and it could soon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anything else you guys have to add on this topic, or anything else?
Nope.
All right. It's been great speaking with you guys. I hope everybody enjoyed this section, and Christian's Corner is now closed. Enjoy this music. We'll be back with Dave's Dives after this.
Nice. Did you have another topic or no?
Yeah, but I saw the time and I was like, nah, forget it.
All right. I mean, yeah, if you guys ever want to go over, that's fine. It's just like we these are not hard and fast deadlines. But what was your other topic?
Bale, but it didn't matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good thing we didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Asphyxiation's always funny.
Yeah, we got bailed out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanted to give a quick plug for our partner, FNX.network. FNX.network is a website that has all different kinds of content, stories, podcasts, blog posts, YouTube videos, you name it. They got it for a variety of topics. They have sports, but they also have entertainment, video games, lifestyle, tech, movies, and more. All of that is available over on FNX.network. Go check it out. Bam. Bam, bam. Do we have an episode name that anyone's been feeling good about? The whole Walmart situation was pretty funny.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Matt, because you've been listening and paying so hard attention. Any episode names?
I would say
maybe So Hard Attention. That'd be a good one.
I can't think of anything good so far.
Wow.
Great.
Wow, we suck today. Huh?
Yeah. It says Sunday morning feels.
Sunday morning rain is coming.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Dave's Dive. Jumping right into things, or diving right into them. The Broj is back. Brendan Rodgers has left Celtic and is new Leicester City manager. Matthew, what do you think about Brendan Rodgers coming back to the Premier League? Do you think he's going to be successful? Do you think it was the right decision for him to leave Celtic in the middle of the season and join Leicester now? What do you think?
Well, I think for him, it was a good step because you kind of have to get your foot in the door whenever possible. And I think he probably wanted to come back to the Premier League, be on this level again. and have a team. I know they did win the Premier League, but I know they won't probably do it again. But a team that might fight for a Europa League spot, get back into Europe. I feel like that's a good place for him at this point in his managerial career. I know he didn't get off to a great start today, losing in the 90th minute, but I think it's a decent signing for the club, and I think he's going to do decently well there. I think he's going to perform at least to their expectations.
What do you think about him leaving Celtic in the middle of the? Oh, you already kind of you addressed that by saying you got to take the opportunities when they come. Christian, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it was a big mistake. I don't think he should have left Celtic. I think he left a really bad taste in the mouths of the Celtic fans and players over there. And they're already talking about, I saw a quote this morning that the captain, I forget what his name is, of Celtic,
Tim
went
Weah?
into the, that's the one, went into the media and said, Celtic's reserve team is bigger than all of Leicester City. And I was like, oh, wow, this
Brown?
is some fighting words.
Scott Brown, I want to say his name is Scott Brown.
Maybe.
I could have that wrong.
Okay, yeah, well, he said that. And I think Brendan Rodgers deserves to be in the Premier League. I think he is a top manager. But
What did they say? He said their reserve team. What does he mean by
bigger than
like
Leicester,
size-wise?
like a more bigger deal? Like they're more important than Leicester City.
Okay.
Yeah, the Premier League is the focus of the world soccer. Like that is what it is. Like if you look globally, the Premier League is the most popular league in the world. They have the most money. He wanted to be there. We obviously see it. He's now in his third team in the Premier League, I believe now, right?
Yeah, because I think he started at Watford, but I don't think they were in the
Swansea,
Premier League.
Yeah. So Swansea, then Liverpool, and now he's with Leicester City. And
Dude, he
I
almost
think
won the Premier League with what? Why'd you make that face with him at Liverpool?
because other than that 1 year, because Luis Suarez was there, it was not good.
Okay.
The rest was bad.
Interesting.
He's no Jurgen Klopp, I'll tell you that much. I don't hate him as a person, but he's okay. He's all right. Like most people.
Those are the levels of Christian's interaction with other humans.
either
Do I
really
hate you
hate-
as a person, or they're okay.
Yeah, I don't really like people, so yeah, that's about where we're at. Ooh, man. So I think he's gonna do a good job at Leicester. His main focus, I know he went into the media and said, was to get Jamie Vardy back into his goal scoring form. He did that today. Jamie Vardy scored, but Jamie Vardy also got hurt and might be out for a while. He did not look good and came off pretty late in the game. If it wasn't for Kasper Schmeichel not kicking the ball well, they would have at least gotten a point today. And that happens. That's the life of a goalkeeper. You make a mistake, and the life of a manager when your goalkeeper does make a mistake. But it was a nice goal, nice finish. The pass over the top was brilliant by Watford, but Leicester City, I think, will be fine. I think Brendan Rodgers was probably a good appointment for them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think in an ideal world, it would have been great to wait till the summertime, especially because Leicester, they're not going to get relegated. I don't know how much higher they're going to climb up the table right now. I don't think they're getting into Europa League. So the fact that they poached him from Celtic right now, I don't know how necessary that was. But, I mean, I see it. Like Matt said, you got to take the opportunities when they come. And who knows, maybe there was a situation, I can't remember, somebody speculated, maybe it was on the Total Soccer show, that actually Celtic pushed for him to leave right now so that Leicester had to buy him out. And so so that Celtic could be compensated. But, that was just speculation. Maybe that played a role in all of this. I think he will be successful at Leicester, and I understand him leaving. He's already won everything, at Celtic. I know that they're going through for a 9th consecutive title, and he would have had 3 straight treble winning seasons there. And no team in Scotland. So Rangers and Celtic have won, they're generally the dominant teams in Scotland, but neither of those clubs has ever won 10 consecutive titles. And I know Celtic is going for that, and that would be a huge deal. So, but beyond that, I mean, there was nothing really keeping him up there, and I understand why he left for Leicester. Matt, it looks like you have something to add.
If you are winning 10 straight, is it really that big of a deal? Aren't you just better than everybody else at that point? Like,
yeah, but it's never happened. But I mean, that's the purpose of sports, is to win, right? And so the fact that they're winning.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it would be like if like the Warriors win in basketball this year. It's like, oh, is that a big deal? No, you expect them to win.
Yeah, but if they won 10 straight, that'd be pretty impressive. And it'd be a feat that likely will never be matched, right?
No, not with basketball. Oh, 10 straight leagues.
Oh,
I see.
yeah,
Okay,
or
okay.
trophies. Because
Sorry, I thought you meant games
Yeah,
there.
no, not games. I'm talking about titles.
Yeah, trophies.
Okay, everybody understands that, right?
Yeah, I know, but I
Okay.
feel like it's like just expected.
I
If
did
you're
not.
that good, like I don't think it's that.
Even if it's expected, you still need to follow through with it, and that's where, So there's a pressure that comes with it being an expectation, even if you are better than everybody. There is that element as well. Christian, anything else to add on the barrage?
No, welcome back.
Matt?
No.
Another Premier League team that got a new manager, Fulham. Third manager of the season, Scott Parker, has replaced Claudio Ranieri. Christian, what do you make of Fulham changing their manager yet again? And what do you make of Scott Parker taking over things?
Well, it's an interesting one, to say the least. I know he's been with the club for a couple years, which actually I didn't know until recently. I just found that out from my friend who's a Fulham fan, Lil Seabass, Christian Sandler, who's been on the podcast a few times, our most frequent visitor. So he said Scott Parker's been with the club for a long time since he retired. I didn't realize he's been on the coaching staff. So he does understand the flow of the club. He's already been in it. I think he's going to be fine in the backroom staff, but as the manager, I'm not sure about his experience. He's coming into a situation that's very precarious and doesn't seem to have any type of safety net involved right now, because they look like they're going down. They're currently losing to Chelsea 2-1 at home, which isn't really that bad, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the word I'll use there. But you expect them to stay in the league with how much money they spent this year. It's really unfortunate. I don't think it's Scott Parker's fault. I think that he will have a future.
No, I think he got.
Yeah, Matt's just making faces. We're not laughing at you.
And eventually he's going to stay. I think that he'll go to the championship with Fulham. I think he'll do well there. I don't know how well. I hope they come back up. I really like Fulham for some reason. They're a team that I've always liked having in the Premier League.
Americans.
I hope Scott Parker does well, but I don't see him being able to save them this year.
Matt, what do you think about the Scott Parker appointment and some of the things Christian touched on there? What do you think about this? Is his first managerial job. Obviously, it's a high pressure situation being in the Premier League, but there's also pretty low expectations because I think everybody assumes he's going down. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. So one, I said Ranieri was going to be a good appointment. Turned out that was not a good appointment. I hope the best for him, but no, it did not work out at Fulham. Scott Parker, like you said, there's not much expectations for him. I think going down to the championship will be interesting. Like guys like him, Lampard, I think Keane's down there. So just see that generation.
He's an assistant.
Oh, he's an assistant.
At
Okay.
Forest.
Okay, yeah, just that generation of center mids, just as managers now. I think that's going to be interesting in the championship, and just see how they grow as managers and probably try to get their clubs back up to the Premier League or get a new job. I think that's going to be more interesting than the actual Fulham situation as the managers. But I had no idea he was at the club since he retired. I think, when you play in the Premier League that long, obviously he knows a lot about the game. We'll see how he takes it as a manager and how he can manage his players. But I don't have any problems with it.
I'd agree with that. I think that it's a pretty low risk appointment. I mean, he's been at the club for a few years, like Christian and Matt were saying. In addition to that, I mean, they're going down this season. And so he can sort of get things, settled this year, figure out his style and prepare them for next season in the championship. So from that perspective, I think it's a good idea. I think it obviously is really tough getting out of the championship, and that's a tough league, especially to start as a manager. And so we'll see what happens. But, Lampard started there and he's doing very well. And I don't know if anybody would have expected that before the season. So who knows? Maybe Scott Parker can also do the same thing. Christian, anything else to add?
Nope.
Matthew?
No.
All right. It was MLS opening weekend. This weekend, we are recording Sunday morning, March 3rd, before the Sunday matches. So I'm just going to recap the scores from the Saturday matches and then just get your guys' opinions on what was maybe surprises or disappointments. So things started off. Union lost 1-3 to Toronto. Orlando City and New York City tied 2-2. Columbus and Red Bulls tied 1-1. FC Dallas, the Revs also tied 1-1. Colorado and Portland, hey, they tied. This one was 3-3. Houston, Real Salt Lake, That was another draw, 1-1. Vancouver lost at home to Minnesota. I predicted that. LA Galaxy beat Chicago Fire 2-1. San Jose lost at home 2-1 to Montreal, and Seattle beat the crap out of FC Cincinnati 4-1. Christian, what were your surprises and disappointments from this weekend?
Well, for you watching on YouTube, I'll just do this for you. Fuck! All right, so that was my scarf of the Union. It was very, 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 very fucking frustrating to be at that game yesterday. I was very unhappy. I think we could have easily lost that game 4-0. We were abysmal in attack. We had possession for a lot of the game, but it doesn't mean anything if you're not going to put shots on target and create real opportunities. In the first half, we were able to get in behind them. They changed tactically. We had no answer to them at all. We let Michael fucking Bradley run the game. And no, like, it was just garbage performance. I don't know when things are going to change. Okay, other games.
Michael Bradley's good, though. Like, what do you mean? We let Michael Bradley run the fucking game. Like, he's still good. Like, that's what he does. So, but you can't let him do that. But it's still not a surprise that he did that in MLS. But let's
think he did. But okay, we're gonna move along there. Yeah, he's part of the team that couldn't make the World Cup in CONCACAF. He's garbage.
So was Christian Pulisic. Is he garbage?
Yeah, he was also 18 years old.
Okay. All right. Just because he was on the field doesn't mean that the entire team was garbage. Yeah, he didn't play well that game, but plenty of people didn't play well and they are still talented. Let's not go down this rabbit hole. I know you have very strong opinions and you're dug in, you never change, but let's not go down this rabbit hole too much. Christian, what was maybe a positive surprise?
Positive surprise was, I guess I'll go with the Orlando game. They came back from being down 2-0. I predicted New York City to win that game. I don't rate Orlando City that highly, but they fought back, and good on them. That really was impressive to be down 2-0 at half and still find a way to come out of that game with a result.
Matt, what about you? Surprises and disappointments from this weekend?
Yeah, I'll say Columbus getting a point. I mean, they were home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say it's necessarily too surprising, but I will say I'm expecting them to kind of be more of an emotional ride this year for the team. So them getting points on opening weekend, maybe not being the favorite talent-wise, I think that's big for them. And, frustration. I mean, the Union, what I saw yesterday, I mean, I'll say, because I watched, all 90 minutes of that game, it was just so frustrating to see just how bad we actually were, and not being able to use. It's crazy that people in the MLS, or at least neither team, could switch the field, and it's really 22 people on one side of the field at the same time when the ball goes to a corner, and it's just crazy that they don't use the space. And like, that was the main thing I picked up. Like, I was just baffled at that yesterday.
Yeah, so not to harp, we don't want this to become a Union podcast, but I was also disappointed in the Union's performance, specifically Harris Medunjanin at the number 6 position. Harris is a very talented player in the right system. He cannot be the number 6 in a diamond narrow midfield, and that was wildly exposed for both of Toronto's first 2 goals. Bradley just walked into there as Harris stood there and just kind of watched him. He's not a defensive midfielder in that system, and so for me, I'm so frustrated that everybody, pundits, fans, everybody knew he could not play there. Curtin still rolled him out and surrounded him with Ilsinho and Fabian, who aren't really known for having defensive qualities. And that was most disappointing from my perspective. The Union had a handful of chances. Fafa early in the second half can't tap into an open net. That was very disappointing. They hit the post or had a goal line clearance. So they were still able to generate a handful of chances, but it just didn't feel cohesive and it didn't feel like they did enough. Now, on the positive side, Orlando, I'll agree with Christian. I was happy with that. I was expecting, at least in this initial match, good things from them, and it was cool to see them fight back. And specifically Colorado, I praised them in our quick kick picks video, and for them to take the lead early against Portland, suffer that red card and penalty kick conceded in the 30th minute, and still be able to fight back on 2 separate occasions. They went down 2-1, tied it 2-2, then went down 3-2 and tied it 3-3. For them to have that performance, I thought was really cool to see. Matthew, anything else you wanted to say?
Nah, I didn't get to see all the games yesterday. So don't have too much to add.
Yeah, no worries. And I didn't get to see everything either, but I did watch a lot of them, and I'm excited to watch the MLS review show later. Christian, anything else you want to add on MLS?
Excited to see Ibra scoring again. Here
Yeah.
we go with his season now.
Yeah, I mean, the Fire looked a lot better than I expected them to look, and the Galaxy looked pretty exposed defensively, but a couple of their players I was impressed with. Efren Alvarez coming off the bench, thought he was really good for a 16-year-old, and I was really impressed with Antuna, the young winger for the Galaxy. I thought he was pretty dangerous as well. Matthew, something you want to add?
They also bought out their Santos, which we addressed in the quick kick. We said what are they going to do with him, and they did that.
Matthew, that is such a great transition. I wanted to quickly touch on that next. LA Galaxy bought out Gio dos Santos. That was a roster mechanism that they needed to do. I know, but what do you expect of, or what were your impressions of that being the solution from MLS, Matt?
I guess somewhat surprised by it. I thought he was going to stay and play there, or at least get somehow traded, or I didn't know what was going to happen with him. But does this mean he's just a free agent now for MLS? Is he still in MLS, or is he able to go wherever? Or
so technically his contract is still owned by MLS. If he goes anywhere in MLS, like he needs to either be claimed off of waivers or can be re-signed. And then I think he can sign anywhere else in the world, but I could have that wrong. But he definitely still has a contract with MLS. I just don't know the specifics of it, which is really weird.
If he got picked up, he would still have the same contract he has now.
Exactly. That's my understanding.
Okay.
If he's claimed off waivers.
Okay. Well, we should go after him. But
I mean, does he like Philly?
Where's he gonna fit?
I don't know. Somewhere. Score.
I mean, he hasn't been a great player.
Right wing.
He hasn't been a great player. Did you say right wing?
Yeah.
We're not playing that system.
Well, we can
We
play
should.
that right.
All right.
Play a 4-3-3. It's stupid.
Christian, what do you make of the Galaxy complying to the roster and MLS finally not sort of bending over backwards to accommodate them when they're more or less breaking the rules?
Yeah, it was the right move from MLS. I think that he should have been traded or sold. I'm surprised no one wanted to pick him up. But I guess he is an expensive player who's kind of running long on his career, and he's just not what he once was.
I'd agree with that. So I like that MLS didn't allow the Galaxy to circumvent the rules for once. And so hopefully this is a sign that, hey, they're not, things are changing at MLS and they're not going to, bend over backwards to some of the clubs. Quickly shout out LAFC documentary on ESPN Plus. If anybody hasn't seen it, highly recommend going and watching that. That was really, really cool to see. Nick Raimondo is retiring after this season. Incredible MLS career. So shout outs to him. And then finally, we are doing CONCACAF Champions League live streams where we watch the match. The match is not on our live stream, but we watch the match and we're chatting with people all over the place who are watching the matches. The matches you can watch for free on Yahoo Sports. So come join us Tuesdays and Wednesdays this week for all of that. Guys, anything else to add before we get to our listener questions?
Nope.
No.
Go check out the Soccer Tavern YouTube channel as videos about the history, culture, and philosophy of the beautiful game. All right, listener questions. So first one up is Glenn Lawrence. Is Dortmund going full Liverpool and letting the title slip? So we are recording this before the Merseyside derby, so who knows if that's happening. I know Christian was not going to appreciate the way that he phrased that question. So Christian, do you want to give your thoughts on Dortmund?
Go fuck yourself, Glenn. Are you kidding me? Saying those words? I mean, they're falling apart, but it's completely unnecessary for you to come into our podcast and say such things.
Matthew?
I mean, yeah, are they level on points now?
Yeah. I think
they're level. They still have the goal. Well, but Bayern scored 4 this weekend. So as far as making up the goal difference, so it's much tighter than it was.
Yeah. So
2.
I will say they are kind of blowing it. Yeah.
Well, so I'll say that they're blowing it, but I still don't think Liverpool is blowing it. It's a completely different. It's a different situation just from the perspective that I feel like nobody wants Liverpool to win, whereas everybody kind of wants Dortmund to win, which I still don't fully understand, because if you were to tell me a team that hasn't won the title in 29 years is going for it versus a team that has won a bunch of titles recently, most people would sort of root for the underdog. And I get that that's not going to happen in England, but I also don't think Liverpool's blowing it. So that's kind of where I stand on that situation. Next question is from @UnderdogSP. That's our friend Matty Nips. Has Pulisic plateaued? Is that blasphemy? By the way. So Matt, has Pulisic plateaued for you?
I mean, kind of in a way he has plateaued because just how quickly he rose, and he's kind of just staying
like a phoenix.
Yeah. Sure, like a phoenix. So I think he's just gonna stay similar, like at this kind of level until he kind of takes over something at Chelsea and proves himself at Chelsea. I think there's nothing more to really gain this year, especially with the playing time and him knowing he's leaving. So I think it's gonna be maybe a year before we see him make that next jump.
Christian, has Pulisic plateaued?
Okay, I don't know if the question is, does that mean he's plateaued and can't improve further, or if that just means like he's just at a steady rate right now and not improving. But I think he has room to improve, and I think that he will in the Premier League. It's a new league. He's going to be learning new tactics, a bunch of just new skills that he's going to need to really compete in that league. He's going to probably have to get more just built and like just bigger because it's a more physical league. Not lead, but we might see leads next year, so might as well say that. But I think Pulisic will be fine. I think he's going to improve. He's still 20 years old, so he's got a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, so I'll say he's maybe plateaued at Dortmund, but he's 20, like Christian just said. His career has not plateaued. He still has plenty of room to grow, and by changing teams, changing leagues, that should hopefully provide the impetus for him to continue to grow in his career. So I will say that he has not plateaued. Last thing I wanted to quickly touch on, this is something I know when I had Drew Pels on the podcast, he brought this up, and I saw this on Twitter a couple different places over the last few weeks. Specifically, Fields of Anfield Road tweeted about it. Premier League offering kind of like a Netflix-like service. So instead of selling their TV rights to a network and then they put it on and sell advertising or whatever, would you guys be interested in paying, the Premier League $20 a month or $10 a month directly, and then put them having their own streaming service? Do you think that's the way that the game is moving, or do you not feel it that way? So Christian, your thoughts first on this one?
I think that they should do something like that, but if they're going to do it, I don't think it should be like Premier League specific, because then you'd have to do it for each league eventually. I think every league will copy that eventually, but I think that they should make it all in one instead of separating it out. Like make it
like a TV channel,
but soccer only.
Yeah,
like
so there
all different leagues of soccer on one platform.
That kind of exists with Fubo TV to an extent.
Well, then no, I don't want it because it exists.
Okay, so you wouldn't want individual leagues to have their own streaming services. That's basically my question.
Yeah, no.
Okay, interesting. Matt, what about you?
So I don't think this is necessary because you pretty much know. I mean, it's kind of annoying knowing that like FA Cup is going to have like ESPN Plus, but Premier League's not ESPN Plus, and things like that, where it's the same country but different competitions, and you still can't watch. Like I have to go to different places to watch City, where use my NBC membership, or I guess Christian's NBC membership, and then go to ESPN Plus, and then to watch all those different games. So, and then for like certain Champions League, you have to go on what's it called? Well, you
Bleacher Report.
Yeah, go through Bleacher Report. So it's just kind of frustrating, and I think if you have like that streaming service, it's gonna be, you're probably not gonna make as much, because I'm sure ads are the big money maker in like the TV deals. So I think when it's like Netflix, like one person pays, then everyone just kind of jumps on. Like no one knows who their actual person that pays for their Netflix is, and it's like I think that could happen. That's a real thing.
I mean, yeah, but I pay for Netflix. I think Christian, people still pay for Netflix. It's not like everybody shares, and you can
one Netflix account.
I don't even know whose Hulu I have. Right now.
Yeah. Yes, that definitely happens, but you can control that by only having, say, 3 streams being able to be watched at once or something like that. Yes, that is a concern, though, Matt.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think it's an eventuality that's kind of likely to happen. I think that if the leagues take that on, they're signing themselves up for a lot of technical kind of issues and headaches by doing that. They might have to outsource the actual streaming and all of that. But I I like that TV networks or the rights are sold, and then teams can sort of package it in different ways. So it's kind of where I stand, but I think ultimately the industry is moving towards that. That's my thoughts on it. Let us know your thoughts at PT Soccer Pod. Christian, you want to recap our trivia question?
I would love to. So with Barcelona winning El Clasico twice this week, they have now surpassed Real Madrid for a better record. So they have 96 wins. Real Madrid has 95 wins. When is in history against each other? When was the last time Barcelona had a better record against Real Madrid in like historical sense? What year?
Dave.
1932.
Damn it. 1932.
Okay. Good job, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, I knew it too.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. It was 87 years.
It was fun, guys. I hope you had fun. All right, so I hope you guys who are listening didn't know and found it to be a fun trivia question, because my brothers suck and just know everything. Thanks for stopping by. I guess I'll wrap it up here, guys. It's been really great. Matt, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on your podcast, Christian.
All right. Do you want to tell people about where they can find us?
Yeah, on Twitter, they can find us at BT Soccer Pod.
Okay. Where else can they find us?
They can find us. They can email us at at bros.talking.soccer
Or
at gmail.com or brostalkingsoccer@gmail.com, because the dots don't matter for Gmail.
Dave, want to tell them about our site?
Yeah, sure. So we have a website, brostalkingsoccer.com. You can read about us, check out past episodes. We just started a couple different YouTube videos, the quick kick picks. We just started where we're previewing what's happening in MLS. So go check all of that out on our website. And if you want to support the show or buying anything on Amazon, go to our store link, click to Amazon, click the link to Amazon. Whatever you end up purchasing, we get a very, very small percentage. It helps support the show, and we would really, really appreciate it. So please consider that. No additional cost to you, just a couple extra steps, and we would really, really appreciate that. Guys, I'm headed to Fiji this week. I'm going to miss all the listeners. I'm going to miss you guys, and it's just going to be Christian and Matt next week. So hope everybody enjoys that.
It's going to be so fun. All right, so let me tell people about Slack real quick, because you didn't, and whatever. So Slack is an interactive community where you get to talk to people about soccer, and we have a Bros Talking Soccer Slack. If you would like to join it, you email us at brostalkingsoccer@gmail.com, and we will get you involved. You can also tweet at us if you would like, at BT Soccer Pod. And there's a bunch of different channels in there. You got the top 5 European leagues, international soccer, transfer rumors, general conversation, and all that good stuff. Please let us know if you want to join our Slack community. All right, so I think that wraps up the podcast. Dave, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, have fun in Fiji.
Thank you.
Matt, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for thanking me twice.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you again, because you just did a great job today, Matthew. All right, thanks all the viewers, and you'll never walk alone. Have a good one.
All right, Mark.